This
You.
conference will now be recorded.
So, guys, we need to discuss something like AWS is a term of interview preparation. We just set up some topics and accordingly we have to study today. Okay, so maybe we're not going to more than 30 minutes or 40 minutes. I hope it's a good idea. So, first is very hot topic asked by many interviewer is three-tier application. Three-tier. What is AWS best practice three-tier infrastructure? What is that? Okay. So basically, I just got a document over here, and let me also open a three-tier AWS. Yeah. So let me first talk about this. So as part of the AWS best practice, they have posted something here. So one of the most common infrastructure pattern is the three-tier infrastructure. This pattern divides the infrastructure into three separate layers. One is public, second is private layer. So the idea is that the public layer act as a shield of the private layers. Anything in the public layer is publicly accessible, but stuff in the private layer is only accessible from inside the network. So Babu, I think you have a better view on this. So three-tier is just kind of is showing in the picture over here.
Uh, yes, Shamim. So normally, when you do an application architecture, what will they will always look for the high availability. Like instead of going for single subnet or single availability zone, they want to be spread across the all the subnets or be specific to the availability zone or specific to the region. If one region goes something wrong, then other region will be take over that. If one availability goes wrong, the other availability will take precedence. In that we there is a one of the availability option. The when you talk about three-tier application, but always database layer, the database service is belongs to the private subnet, and application will be on the like example the web server always pointing to the public subnet. Okay, and in between the application layer, which is part of taking the input from the user and pitch the data into the database, it will act as again a internal private subnet. So this is the where concept when we do a application or a multi-tier application architecture, these all we need to take into the considerations.
Okay. So as can everybody see my screen, so I just Google it and I got this document, and this is very. I feel this is very useful to understand the three-tier and across three availability zones we have created the following subnet. So one is public layer. This layer consists of three public subnet, one one on each availability zone. So it is as public layer, three public subnet, and it will associate with the availability zone. They have a different availability zones. Second one is application layer. So application layer, this layer consists of three private subnet, one in each availability zone. So okay, and database layer, this layer consists of three private subnet, one on each availability zone. So that's why I mean one is goes down, so it's get replicated or get then syncing with some other availability zone. So this is the architecture basically. Any best example and how we define the HA part, high availability part? Where is HA over here? High
When
availability.
when coming to the availability, we can talk about the load balancer and auto scaling.
Okay.
This works under availability zone. When you want to, your application want to be in region specific high availability, then you'll have to use
Mhm.
Route 53.
Okay.
See, if something wrong in one region, the Route 50 will take and forward traffic to the another region.
Okay. That's great. So, Babu, you are on phone or you are with the real laptop?
I'm with the laptop.
Okay. So, can you draw the three-tier diagram and understand us? I mean, give us an example. So, let me give you the mouse control.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm asking you, or you need it. Okay. So now you have access of my keyboard and mouse. You can get it, or
Mm,
let me open a WordPad. So it's a better.
okay.
Let's open my CV. Okay. I don't know why it's opening my CV. Okay. Give me 2 minutes. Danny, Danny, go.
I don't
Go
think I
ahead.
have access. No, I've tried, but I don't think I have access to that. Let me. Okay. Okay. Got it now. Okay. Eraser. Okay. Uh, First, I'm talking about the availability zone of stuffs. Okay. Oh, it's very. Why it's not allowing me to do that? Okay. Just forgive me or apologies for not drawing well. See, first I will talk about the first picture. So we can consider, say, this is a public subnet where we have a three subnets. Like three subnets, we have a web server. Okay. Let's assume that these are the EC2 instances. So these are the private subnets. This is the application in server. Let's assume that it's very difficult to draw in remote, and I'm providing three more private subnets, which belongs to the database servers.
Okay. Okay. Do one thing, Babu. Can you share your screen? So better. I think it's a little bit confusing
Uh,
here. Okay.
how do I share it?
Let me.
Okay, I got it now.
Okay. So now you are a presenter. Share your screen.
Okay, can you see my screen? Oh, can you see my screen now? Hello?
Yes, Babu, we can see the screen.
Okay, then fine. Okay, uh, Ashim, first I'm drawing about the public subnets. It's subnet from, sorry, I'm not sure how to write it here.
Press that A.
Oh,
A.
yeah, I did that. Okay.
This is a very common question asked by interview in any AWS interview. So you must understand this, and we have to explain them very well.
Shamim, sorry, I joined late. What was the question you are discussing?
So we're discussing here AWS three-tier architecture.
Okay.
You know, some if you in face to face, they will tell you this is a blackboard, draw it, and let me know what you understand about the three-tier architecture. So this is the question basically.
Okay.
So Babu is giving answer on this. He's the AWS guy.
Okay, let's assume we have a public subnet, which is three public subnet, which is having different availability zone. I just assume that, and these public subnets contains a web servers. These web servers again connected to the private subnets with the public, sorry, the application servers. Let me draw the private subnet for application servers. Oh,
So Babu, our instances is on the public network, right?
first web servers you will be facing to the public subnet. The application service belongs to the private subnet, and another three
Okay.
subnets belongs to the private subnet, which is belongs to the DB servers. Whenever
Okay.
the user reading outside of the network, corporate network or something else, trying to access the web server from the internet, the request coming through first load balancer, and load balancer will transfer the traffic to the which is a very healthy host in the web server. For example, if you are getting a request from the outside of the public subnet, first it reaches the EC to web, the first server, this one. Okay, suppose if you are getting multiple requests, then it will, based on the L checks, it will route the traffic to the next available servers. Like that, it will work for the availability. Then based on the request and based on the input, then it will talk to the application server, and application server get the all the inputs and store it into the database server. It should come here, but I don't have
Okay.
space here, that's what I didn't draw that.
You
Okay,
can
the
take.
thing is, yeah, okay, you understood, right? So the thing is, I'm just talking about the availability zone here.
Mm-hmm.
Suppose if the customer wants or your company needs to do an region specific tier applications.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in that what they will do, right? Again, for example, this is called as a US. Okay, they want to be a one more availability on another region, let's say uh, Ireland or somewhere Dublin, somewhere else. You have to
Okay.
do the same setup here. Okay, these two region linked with yes, route 53.
Okay.
Okay, so if something goes something happened on this particular US region, the route 50 automatically route a traffic to the another region, Ireland region.
Okay.
Okay, because Ireland we have a similar setup like this. You got my point?
Yep.
Okay, so there is high availability. In that case, if you want to still, there is one more service called auto scaling. You are aware of auto scaling. Suppose we have only few servers in the public subnet or the private sub, whatever it is, but we are getting huge traffic. Okay, the auto scaling, what you do is based on the peak demands, based on the CloudWatch metrics, it grows it auto scale the instance based on the inputs, like based on the demands. If demands goes high, it automatically create an additional instance to serve the better performance for the application. Once application peaks goes down, again it automatically terminate the scaled instances. That is one of the option we need to consider when we do a architecting on the application. For example, Flipkart and other Amazon, wherever they use, right? So on the peak time, business time, that a huge the it will be a high. So based on the utilization, the instance will be grown automatically, and once the demand is down, then the instance automatically terminated. I mean, the scale down. So that is one of the options when we are working on the high availability on the multi-tier architecture, application architecture. So this is what, but I don't have much space to draw everything here.
Okay. So,
Probably hope you have some idea
let
on
me
that, right?
do, yeah, let me do one thing. Let me share my screen. Okay.
Yeah, probably if you have a better things, I
Yeah. So
can
this is
explain
the
that.
pic you can see here,
Yeah.
right? So what we did, this is the major part, public layer. This
Mm-hmm.
layer consists of three public subnet, one on each availability zone. So we have a three availability zone here and three
Mm-hmm.
public subnet.
Mm-hmm.
And application layer also have a three private subnet and one have a each availability zone.
Okay.
Have the same thing. This layer
Yep.
consists of three private subnet and one on each availability zone, right?
Okay.
So this is
Yeah.
the example showing here. I mean, let me pop up. Now you can explain if you want. Let me give
Okay.
you.
Sure. The same picture what I draw, right? It's the same thing.
Yeah,
They have considered. They first have created a public subnets. Uh,
yeah.
they created three subnets from the three availability zone. This is for I.
Maybe keyboard mouse access, Babu. You can move if you want.
Okay. Uh,
Yeah.
that's okay. This is a public subnets, which is having different availability zone. They have configured each subnet from each availability zone. That is for web servers. You just to assume it's a web servers because it talks to the outside of the corporate. That means it talks to the internet. Okay. The next one is private subnet. The next three diagrams here. One, two, three. It sits on the application server. It's purely related to the private subnet. The
Okay.
third private subnet, which is again it's created a different availability on each subnet. Again, it's a private subnet which belongs to the um, database servers, because we should not give any egress connectivity to the database servers until unless the specific request. Whenever you do the same architecture, any architecture, always database pointing to the private subnet only. Okay, that is for the security reasons. Okay, let's say you have a setup everything. You have a three web server and different availability zone, and you have a three application server in different availability zone, and we have three database in different availability zone. Okay, let's say there is a request coming from the internet, and first it reaches the load balancer. Okay, and load balancer routed traffic to
So,
the
Babu, let me interrupt you.
yeah,
So
yeah.
where we put load balancer over here? This is the question.
Yeah, you should. We cannot directly send a traffic to the instance, right? We need to. Uh, okay, how do you know that which server serving the which application? There is a one single application, one website, right? So these servers belongs to the different IP for different EC2 instance, but it serves as one web server. But how do you access the website like Flipkart, for example, Flipkart.com? How do you know that which instance it is? Always we work on the DNS name.
Yeah.
You got right. So how do you
Yeah.
configure that? Through the load balancer. Okay, when the user trying internet like flipkart.com, it will pointing to the respective IP which is assigned on the load balancer. Then load balancer forward a traffic to the public subnet on the where is the web server hosted on the public subnet. Okay. Okay, first the 10 request seating, then it comes to the subnet 1 and the EC2 instance. Okay, and again, how do you architect? Suppose one public subnet always be a peak one, means it gets directly route to the another subnet. Suppose if you don't have auto scaling enabled on this particular subnet, because let's say assume you have only two EC2 instances available in the public subnet, both the two instances are filled with heavy traffic. Now if you have a auto scaling enabled, it automatically scale up one more instance additionally in the subnet. If you are not enabling auto scaling, then traffic route to the next availability zone. You have to configure like accordingly. Otherwise you can serve the traffic over here. If something goes wrong, is the instance not responding well, then traffic route to the another subnet in the availability zone. So this is where the config they will be configured like that. Okay.
Babu, one
Yeah.
question. Why these subnets are in different availability zone? It can't be in the same?
No, there
No.
if it is available the same subnet, there is no, if something goes wrong that particular option, so everything is gone, right?
So
Okay.
let me tell you what is availability zone. Availability zone
So
basically
that
means
is
it
for
is a
redundancy purpose, Babu, right?
Exactly.
exactly.
You can create one subnet particular for this availability zone. You can create another range of subnet, the same thing. Then what is the purpose in that? If something goes wrong in the availability zone, again there will be a downtime for the applications. There is a business impact.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, that's what whenever you build a solution, you just think about if the use is globally, we need to architect it's a multi-tier application, like it should be on multi-AC. The server should be placed in multi-AC. That means you have to spread across the availability zone.
Okay.
Okay, guys. So
And
I think
yeah.
it is clear. Everybody have it clear now. So this box you can see here, this one. This is a one availability zone. Okay, guys. Okay. This is another one. It's already written here. So little bit is small. Maybe you cannot see it. And this is the third availability zone. Each instances web server is associated with the public subnet. Application work on private subnet. Database also work on private subnet. Load balancer is over here. It comes under a VPC. VPC is here. I mean the whole it's a virtual private network. So there is a
Okay,
load
I have a
balancer.
question. Okay,
Okay.
let me put this. How do you define which one is public and which one is private subnet? It creates automatically, or we have to make them as a public and is private?
Voice is breaking.
Okay,
I- i-
there is a
Is
question.
it a question, Babu?
Yeah, I am asking you, do you know how to categorize this? Which one is public subnet and which one is private subnet?
While creating a subnet in VPC, we have option, right? Public and private.
Mm-hmm. No, we have to make them as a which subnet is a private and which subnet is a public, because it's not at all automatically take the few subnets are public and the few subnets are private subnet. We have to make them as a public and a private. So when you are talking about the public subnet, the route table should be added with the IGW. Then it act as a public subnet. When you
Okay.
are talking about the private subnet, the subnet which needs to be added to VGW, virtual gateway, in the route table, that is act as a private subnet. So this is the you have to make them as a public and private. It are not automatically get private and public.
So
Okay.
IGW understand from internet gateway. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, and Shamim, there is one more question to you or any guys. So suppose the
Tell me.
so
Hello, Babu. I think your voice is cut out. We can't hear you. Shamim, can you hear me?
I think he lost the connection.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I thought I lost my connection.
I lost my connection. Sorry. So
No
you
problem.
got my question right. So
No,
the servers in the
we
private
did not,
subnet.
Can you ask your question again?
Yeah.
because we
Suppose
did not
the
hear your question.
okay, sorry. Suppose the servers in the private subnet want to talk to the internet to get some patches, OS level patches or database patches. So how do you make these servers connected to the internet? Do you have any idea on that?
We should configure a NAT
Through VPN?
We need to connect Ethernet gateway.
gateway.
Mm, yeah, exactly. NAT gateway should be placed on the NAT gateway should be installed. Then only the traffic will be routed to the internet from the private server. Then the next two questions:
Okay.
where
Okay,
will be
guys.
installed the NAT gateway?
Okay, only in the private one. So
No,
let
the NAT
let
gateway
me
should be
explain.
always placed in the public subnet.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. So, guys, another question is maybe asked by what is the difference between public subnet and private subnet? So, we are discussing here, I mean, little bit about it. So, let's read this and go through it. Okay. So, this is a very clear example and the definition over here about the public subnet and the private subnet. So, the main feature that makes subnet public or private is how instances is that subnet access the internet. That's the way. A public subnet is a subnet that allows its instances to access the internet via an internet gateway. You get this point? And a private subnet, on the other hand, allows its instances to access the internet via either a network address translation server, NAT, or via Amazon's managed NAT services or gateway. We have chosen to use Amazon NAT gateway as it is managed by AWS and it's scale out as needed. Okay. In order to make a subnet allow access to the internet via an internet gateway or a NAT gateway, you have to make sure that route tables for the subnets are set up in a way to direct traffic to the correct gateway. In our example, we have set the following route tables. So for the public, we always use 10.0.0.24. This is the local one. And internet for the internet access, we always use this kind of, what is called CIDR block. 0.0.0.0/0 internet gateway ID. And for the private network, we created a net gateway ID, and accordingly we have to assign this CIDR to the private subnet. Okay, so this is the image where we can define public and the private subnet. Okay, Babu, now you can better explain, I think. Here also they put it a ELB, elastic load balancing, netting, routing, net routing. So this is the public subnet 2, public subnet 3 application hosting here, auto scaling. Then it's also inside the auto scaling group. So this is how.
You want me to
Oh,
explain, Shamim?
yep.
Okay, so as I said, right, the instance in the public segments it should talk to the internet through the NAT gateway, but the NAT gateway should be always placed in the public subnet because all the internal traffic goes to the NAT gateway. From there, it route to the traffic to the internet because public subnet as a IGW enabled. That's what we need to place always NAT gateway on the public subnet. So this is
Okay.
the main. Whenever if someone wants to try technically, they'll ask these kind of scenario questions. So that is
Mhm.
very important. We should not place the NAT gateway in private subnet. It won't work out. And okay, so there is a custom route table which is specific to the public subnet. One 10/24 it's pointing the local and the 00.0 whatever the traffic it's open for all the networks through IGW. Whatever the it coming from it allows it talks to the internet. That's what they routed to the IGW. The second main route table right here it says /24 is a local and 00 is a NAT gateway. Okay, this means these local always communicate each other by default because suppose the instance in the public subnet and the private instance, the private subnet always connect each other internally. By default is designed by default by communicating through the private IPs. Okay, suppose the private subnets easy to source wants to talk to internet, the traffic will go through this way, NAT gateway, that means here, then it will go to the in this route outside. So this is the explanation over here. The traffic from the private subnet goes to NAT gateway and reaches to the NAT gateway device. From there, it route to the traffic to the outside by using IGWID. Again, it receiving the traffic through NAT gateway and passing through the NAT gateway route table and point coming to the EC2 instance. You got it now, right?
Yep, yep. So
Okay.
here we have
Again,
a last load
yeah,
balancing also you can.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Could you reduce the size because there is some. Okay. Here, the load balancing, what they're trying to say is getting the heating from the outside and it requires coming through the load balancer. Then load balancer forward the traffic to the instance which is available in the different subnet based on the EC2 instance health checks. It automatically, whenever you add a service in the load balancer, it gets monitor all the health checks of the EC2 instances. Then it forward the traffic to the LT instances which is available in the subnet. If feels that some EC2 instance doesn't have good health check, then it route traffic to the another instance.
Okay, good. I hope guys you get it easily. Now we come to the more explanation over here, if I can see. So
Yes.
what goes in each of the layers? Public layer. The public top layer will host an internet facing elastic load balancer ELB and a bash and host. The LB is the entry point of your application and it direct traffic to your application server. Note that the ELB needs to be available in all three availability zones. This will allow for high availability and redundancy in case something happened to an entire availability zone. Or diagram only shows on instance of ELB and you will only see one instance in the AWS console. However, behind the scenes, AWS provision multiple instances of ELB based on what availability zones have EC2 instances behind that the load balancer. So everything instances we need to put inside the load balancer. The Bastion host, also known as jump host, is the server that will allow you to connect your application server or any other server in the private subnet via SSH. Good. Now we come to application layer. So the second layer in the application layer, this is where your application server live in our cases. I mean, they're just giving an example over here. So they wrapped out application server with an auto scaling group. This will allow application to scale up if more servers are needed or to recover in the case one of the availability zone is out of service. In the case where an entire availability zone is out of service, the load balancer is smart enough to know that and it will scale up in a different availability zone. This is the I mean same which Babu already explained. Now we come to database layer. The third and last layer is the database layer. This is where the databases are live. So the only way to access these databases is by connecting to them from the application layer. So they have taken a case and using Amazon's relational database service RDS, which is a managed database service provided by Amazon. One advantage of using RDS is that we can have a failover database instances in a separate availability zone. In addition, we can also have one or more read by RDS instances to take some of the load of the main database. So this is the example. I hope this is clear now. Okay.
If you want a better kind of R3 architecture, probably I can refer my because I've already done some kind of sessions. Let me know
Mhm.
once schedule. Probably I can take you that one whenever we find a free time, so I can give them a better explanation on that.
Okay. So AWS have also the same way. I mean, but that was the shortest document, so that's why I copied that. So let me share to the group if anybody want to read this. Okay, guys. What's that? Okay. So Babu, can we do AWS console? Which account I have to use?
Shamim and the other guys, whoever not clear on that, just let me know. Probably I can take one more go through that. So probably everyone on the same page.
Okay.
Okay.
Guys, give me 2 minutes. Let me check something.
Babu,
Yes,
what is your, job actually?
He's
I
AWS
am
admin.
basically the cloud SME.
Okay. So you are responsible for a client, or what do you do actually?
Actually, I'm getting technical support for my team, and also sometimes I used to get an opportunity to do a kind of solution from the architects. So they want to move some
Okay.
requirements to me. I'll give a solution for them.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll forward my suggestion or my queries to the architect. Then they will review. Then they will add something. Then I'll send it to the customers. Sometimes they are okay with my solution. Anyway, end customer will always pointing to the architects, not me. But background, I'll be working for all the case.
Okay. Okay.
So let me use this account actually. So this is the test running machines, right? And Babu, can you create the same scenario over here? Now you have a console access.
Yeah, I'll walk through. I'll walk through Shamim. You just go by launch the instance, but it takes more time because we need to create a load balancer and we need to attach the EC2 on the load balancer, and
Hmm.
so that's it kind of taking your time because how do you want to create? You want to create three servers on EC subnet?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right. Okay. Why can't we use the existing one because it's already pointing to the uh, availability over zone 1C. So how many subnets available in availability zone?
Okay, let
Each
me check.
availability zone. Yeah. Anyway, it should be one subnet. At least one subnet is available in the subnet.
I think you're right. So we have to work on it actually.
Uh,
It's not.
if you want a complete solution, probably I can give an suggestion. Instead of going for three instance, we can go for one instance in each subnet. Okay.
Mhm.
So how do you want to go with that? Do you want to go with any specific application? I don't. For testing purpose, I always suggest you
No,
web server and the
we,
database server.
we have
Not
to.
required any application server.
Yeah, we just need to make a lab, or we can make a demo for for the three-tier architecture. That's it.
Okay.
So some
So then we
modification.
can skip application server. We can have only web server and database server.
Okay. So first, what we have to create instances.
Instances and load balancer. We have another session, right, for DevOps.
Yep.
Probably we can switch this lab to tomorrow. Probably unless it takes some quite time to configure the labs.
Yeah. So I think it's a better idea. So I think its time is already over.
Yeah.
We have 10:59. So 11 o'clock is going to be. Okay, guys, we have to end this session and we will do it tomorrow. Lab, only the lab things for the three-tier architecture. Okay, agreed, guys?
Okay, Shamim, is there any Ansible today?
Yes, we're going to next Ansible. So whatever we left, we have to start from there.
Okay, okay.
So we will take 10 minutes break and then we will get back to. Okay, I'm ending this session now.
Okay.